Stan, first of all, a warm thank you for having me in the Microsoft building. We have first met already in previous century, and since then you had a very interesting track record within Microsoft. Can you please tell us first what you have been doing with Microsoft for the last 20 years or so?
Well, Koenraad, first of all, thank you for visiting me. It's a privilege to hosting you here in Brussels in our Microsoft offices. And looking forward to talking to you today. Well, I've had the opportunity to join Microsoft 21 years ago, which is a very long time. And I had the privilege to, connecting with you very early on, in the very early stages actually of me joining the Microsoft Belgium office.
Yes.
So I joined Microsoft Belgium as the HR manager for Belgium and Luxembourg, which was a great experience. I spent time really understanding the details of what Microsoft was doing for its customers and partners in a specific country, and my home country, obviously, during 3 years. And I really enjoyed doing that. Afterwards, I moved to Paris, spent time in Denmark, and then spent quite a lot of time in Central and Eastern Europe, working with our colleagues in Russia, in Ukraine, in the Czech Republic, in Hungary, all the way down to Greece, covering 32 countries, which I did for 5.5, 6 years or so. And then afterwards, that was back in 2011, I got the opportunity to work internationally, supporting our subsidiaries globally outside of the United States and Canada. And that further evolved and grew as Microsoft grew as well, to also cover the United States. And then since 2 years now, I'm covering the entire what we call MCAPS organization, which is Microsoft Customer and Partner Solutions, which is not only all of our subsidiaries, but also all of our segments, the entire commercial business, which Microsoft is actually running across the world.
Yeah.
Apart from that, as the company continued to grow, they also asked me to cover our engineering functions outside of the United States as well. Yeah.
Okay. So it's fair to say that you know the in and outs of Microsoft, and you have been seeing also the changes within Microsoft. What are for you the most interesting challenges in your role now within Microsoft these days?
Yeah, the most interesting challenge that we still have is basically has been unchanged for 21 years, namely the fact that actually how to combine a very strong business outcome and how to ensure that the people agenda is front and center in everything we do. And obviously, of course, how we do this has changed fundamentally, but the inner belief that this company has that the people agenda is a very important component in how you run a business has remained unchanged. And this is why I think I'm still here for 21 years and why it is so exciting to run the HR function. It's a privilege to run it. Now, if you really go deeper into the challenges of today and the opportunities we have on the people agenda, there are many of them. You know, the first challenge that we have is how can we continue to attract the talent and basically the skills that are needed for for the company of tomorrow. We know, despite everything that is going on right now with, let's say, with the turmoil, the insecurity, that of course also affects us. We are not immune to what is happening outside. But in any case, we know that come 2030 and beyond, the importance of technology is only going to be increasing, and it's going to almost really, it's going to significantly become more important in how a business is being run, how actually we are spending time, how we are living our lives, and so there is so much opportunity. The opportunity is very much related to AI, artificial intelligence. And to just take that example, how can we really identify the skills that are needed for tomorrow? And how can we do this today so that actually we can really grow our business? So that's the first element. A second element in connection to that is how can we really ensure that we find the leaders that are capable of running the organization of tomorrow. And that is something that is really also, it's not worrying us, but it's definitely something that is keeping me awake, right?
Yeah.
Because we are not, we are not charter constrained. We are leader constrained.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we make sure that to find the leaders that understand technology, that also really can translate this technology towards our customers, but then also really can create this compelling organization and can create this followership that is so important in today's reality.
You have been seeing a lot of leaders passing by within Microsoft, and you still see them growing now at this point of time. What is for you the fundament of being an excellent leader within Microsoft? What would be your advice to people to say, if you want to become a real leader within this company, that's what you need to be in terms of the skills, you think?
Yeah. So we always talk about three things that we want our leaders to do. We want them to create clarity, generate energy, and deliver success. Let's start with creating clarity. In today's reality, there is so much noise, and how can you really distill the signals out of the noise? There's so much gray, so much insecurity, so many things to do. And how can you really ground your team on what's most important now? What is it that they need to do today in a very practical way? So that actually they have this North Star of, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what success means, this is how actually we are going to be growing our business and really thrive as an organization. So creating clarity is extremely important, and I think it's applicable to any leader today. The second element is really generating energy. It is very easy to become cynical. It's easy to say, oh, you know, let me list all of the things that are not going well. And personally, this is triggering me. When I see leaders in action, I always look at this. Are they really creating clarity, and are they generating energy? Meaning, are they truly seeing the opportunity? And if they see a chance, also come with a potential outcome. It doesn't need to be the perfect outcome, but if you have people who are just trying to find an opportunity, that is so enriching, and it is actually so energizing to see people doing this. So generating energy is a very important element, and then delivering success is our third component. And for delivering success, it doesn't mean meeting your revenue target. Of course, you know, that's the outcome. But it means that you've got to find a way to make it happen. There's so many things, and you know, very often, you know, you have the risk of having a lot of conversations, a lot of words, a lot of talks, but not a lot of outcomes. And finding a way to make things happen, connecting with the right people, connecting the dots here, and really getting us to execution is important.
And is it something that you could predict, you think, when you meet people who are applying or actually want to grow within Microsoft? Is it something that you could say, well, I could predict some of them already by the sense of clarity, transparency, by the level of energy, by the success they have? What is your trick there to spot them?
Yeah, I mean, but first of all, I think we've got to keep it very simple. So for us, or for me, everyone is a leader. So it doesn't matter whether you met our receptionist here, or whether you're the general manager or the CEO of Microsoft. Everyone is a leader. You don't need to wait for your next promotion to say, "Hey, I'm a leader now." So that is very important. So. I fundamentally believe you can spot this very early on in people's careers. You've got people who really have this ability to create clarity, generate energy, and deliver success. And by training them and by really also encouraging them to come up with ideas, to really, by creating an environment where they can just do their best work. This is actually, for me, this is the magic formula to making things happen. Absolutely, yeah.
And what about you, Stan, in your role? I mean, did you change over time, you think, in terms of your skills being HR? Because you always were in HR.
Yes.
For 21 years, you never changed HR.
No. Yeah.
Question, why not, for instance? And also, that's my second question. And then my first question is, look at your skills over the last 20 years. How did they evolve?
Yeah. Yeah, always HR. It's a good question to or a good reflection to make. For me, HR is so much part of the business, and I had the opportunity to join the business. I got asked to really run, parts of the business as well here in Belgium, as an example. But I always got in, I stayed very much intrigued by this opportunity that we've got to dramatically change the people agenda and then to influence and to have this impact on the business agenda. So I've never asked me the question, okay, I'm so long in HR, should I stay in HR? For me, HR is so embedded into the business, is so much part of the business. I fundamentally believe that I want to be a business leader, and I happen to be in HR. That's actually how it is. Yeah. Now, my skills have evolved, absolutely. They definitely have evolved. They have evolved in a sense that, to some extent, I think I've always been good in generating energy, and in creating clarity, for myself. But what I've been learning is that it's not about you, really. It's about really creating this environment around you where people can do their best work, where you can attract, develop, nurture, motivate the best possible talent, and always raise the bar. Always raise the bar for yourself, and then raise the bar for the talents that actually you can attract and develop. And by doing this, there's something unique that is coming out of it. So that is basically what I've always tried to do, and I'm obsessed by it. I'm always trying to raise the bar. I'm always trying to find new ways to attract people. And I consider this role as a privilege, sincerely, Koenraad, because you've got the brand, you've got the opportunity to motivate, to attract, and to engage with people that you would never be able to engage with. So, better leverage this opportunity and try to raise the bar all the time, because you know that this is going to really get to better outcomes for the business as well.
Wonderful. You already mentioned what keeps you awake at night. What are, at this point of time, your top priorities now, Stan, at this point of time?
Yes, at this point of time, we're in a turmoil, right? Yes. At this point of time, if you reflect on what we did as a company, and where I've been contributing to, obviously, quite a bit in the past year, we hired 70,000 people, 70. 70? Yes, and so 35,000 new positions of them. So it's over the past 12 months. So wow. It's been incredible. 1 out of 2 of our employees actually have joined during the pandemic. So we've been hiring, we've been developing, we've been investing enormously.
It's almost a new company.
It is almost a new company.
Yeah.
There's so many new people. Yeah. And what is important for us now is to make sure that we consolidate this, that we make sure that we have that people find their way. I've got a lot of privileges, but one of the most important privileges that I'm very aware of is that I've had the opportunity to build social capital for 21 years in this company. Yes. And not all of my colleagues have been able to do that at all. Yeah. So, the most important priority for us is to ensure that we consolidate, that we optimize, that we increase the effectiveness, that we do this onboarding in a very, very good way, and that we make sure that the organization is thriving big time. Another priority, as I mentioned before, is to really identify these skills. And it starts with doing this at scale. It's, you cannot really interview 220,000 people and saying, are you good in AI, or are you good in this or that? And it's about, in HR, we've got to find ways to identify and then to nurture and to develop the ones that we want to develop. Yeah. That is a very important element. Something that is also very important for us is to continue to create this culture where everyone wants to belong to. And we've been working quite a bit on our culture of a growth mindset, ensuring that we feel that we are in a learner mode, and that people again can participate. They don't need to know everything. If they can learn everything, and they're open, and they can really connect with each other in a different way. That is a very important element. Now, creating this culture and ensuring that you also are doing this in a diverse and inclusive way is a very important element. And today's reality is not easy with the geopolitical issues, with lots of personal issues that people have, that are spoken about or unspoken of.
Yes.
It is not easy to be a leader these days. It is much more complex to be a manager or a leader today compared to when I started 21 years ago. Yeah. And supporting these leaders to creating this environment and ensuring that people can express their opinions, ensuring that we are this organization where participation is important, where people have a voice, while at the same time having this North Star of, hey, this is really what's important, here is where we are going, but at the same time really ensuring the environment is there, that we really leverage everyone's strengths, is something that is keeping me awake. It's a very important element as well.
So is it fair to say then that it is becoming even more personal being a leader than when you start, for instance, 21 years ago? It's getting more under your skin than ever. Is it fair to say?
I think so too. I believe so. I mean, as a leader, like the vulnerability and like the authenticity is a very important element, and much more important than I mean ever before. I mean, 20 years ago, whatever it is. Yeah. You cannot fake it. You cannot fake authenticity. You cannot fake empathy, for example, because people will see it immediately. Yeah. And so that for me is a very important element. And so finding this balance between empathy and again creating this environment where everyone feels they belong, and at the same time really ensuring that your team is doing things they never believed being capable of doing, that is for me where magic happens.
Stijn, I still see the energy of 20 years ago. You're still radiating the energy and the ambition. Yeah. And what will be the legacy that you want to leave behind, saying, look, I will close the door on Microsoft one day, and this is the way I want to be remembered. What is going to be your legacy, you think, with it?
Yeah, that's a big question, Koenraad. The legacy that I want to leave behind is that in the end of the day, you know, you're working with humans. I want to have this legacy of, again, ensuring that, you know, this organization is a truth teller, that everyone really can feel very free, can feel open to just be their authentic selves, express their opinions, express their feelings, and at the same time be very clear on you know, what we want to achieve. So this sense of authenticity combined with professionalism to get something and to do something together is what I would like to leave behind. That is important. And so when you achieve this, and you do this with the right people, with a team that where you constantly raise the bar, again, that's the legacy that I really would like to leave behind.
Well, Stijn, I want to thank you for this authentic conversation. I really appreciate it. And I know you like to ride some bike, but I also know you like to read some books. So I brought a little book with me and even wrote it myself. It's a bit of poetry, but this is my present to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Koenraad. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.